Shooting with the iPad is definitely very ridiculous, but I was interested in knowing how far have the iPad cameras improved over the years, and are they actually any good with photo and video taking? So I put that to the test. I went out like a maniac to the street to shoot with the iPad with my friend to not look that crazy, and the results are pretty interesting. All the photos that I shot were in ideal lighting. I wanted to show you the best results that you can get out of the iPads and what the best quality picture from the iPad looks like. Oh, and by the way, this is not going to be a blind test between the Pro and the Air like the one I did with the iPhones. I started with random shots of the area that I was in. We can see the difference between the blues between the Pro and the Air. The Air has more of a bluish tone, and on the Pro it's a bit warmer. I tried to include more shadows and highlights to see how the HDR capabilities of each iPad. I also tried to add different colors and text. So for example, on this road sign, if we zoom in, we can see how the iPad Pro has more details than the iPad Air. And with the stop sign, for example, the reds, the blues, the greens between the Pro and the Air. And if we zoom in, we can see the details of the sign and the difference between both of them. So with this shot, I wanted to test something very specific. Since they removed a camera from the Pro, which is the ultra wide, now we only have the wide. I'm gonna be talking about that more in a later video. I wanted to test the zoom on both cameras. So we start with the wide lens on both the cameras, and then I went to the ×2 zoom. I tried to put that sign in the middle, and then the ×5, which to me, it's pretty interesting between the two. The iPad Pro is using so much sharpening that the photo doesn't look that good anymore. But on the other hand, with the Air, it looks more natural, and to me, I liked the Air in this shot more than the Pro. I took a few landscapes, tried to put all the elements between the two, and we can see the difference between the colors between the two, but both of them look really good. But the iPad Pro looked more natural and close to life than the iPad Air. But when I tried to do a macro shot, the iPad Pro photo was so contrasty that it doesn't look okay anymore. It doesn't look normal, it doesn't look natural. The iPad Air, on the other hand, had a more natural look to it, a bit more pink, and it's not as sharpened as the iPad Pro, which is very interesting. I took some videos also with both the iPads while walking. And some panning. And some videos of me. This is a video test with the iPad Pro M4 and the iPad Air 2024. We're seeing a little bit of difference between the colors of the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. The blues are a bit more bluish on the iPad Air, and on the iPad Pro the blues are a bit more warm. You can find these two videos separately on my channel if you want to go look to each one and zoom as much as you want or get the full quality. But something to mention with the iPad Pro, you can shoot ProRes video on the iPad Pro, which is very interesting, but just like the iPhone, you can only shoot 1080p with the 256 gigabytes, but 4K 30 FPS with the ones more than that. So if you really want the ProRes 4K, then you have to get more than 256 gigabytes. I didn't know that. It's very hidden in the tech specs. With the iPad Pro, you have studio quality mics. They do sound much better than the iPad Air, but Apple in general has such good mics in general. Even the Apple Watch has good mics. So it's an added feature, let's say, with the iPad Pro. And if you want to shoot with the iPads in such lighting conditions in a studio, for example, for your YouTube videos. This is a video and audio test with the iPad Pro M4. We're shooting 4K 30 FPS with the wide lens and with the studio mics. We are in a studio right now in a very well lit environment. How do I sound like? How do I look like? I'm still very mad at Apple for removing that ultra wide lens. We could have had a much better point of view than this. This is a video and audio test with the iPad Air M2. We have it in the exact same position as the iPad Pro. We're shooting also 4K 30 FPS, but this time with regular mics, not studio mics, but we're still in a studio in a very well lit environment, so you can see the difference between the two. How do I sound like? How do I look like? I feel that the iPads are really good for content creation. If you wanna shoot your YouTube video, for example, you can do that on the iPad. You can edit on the iPad, publish on the iPad. I love the iPad so much, and I've been saying over and over again that it's the perfect device for content creation, that you can do everything on it. But I don't know about vlogging with the iPad. And that's been it for today's episode. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, give it a sub. Thank you for watching. See you.